So, we're going to go over the new Abhyss archetype from Ancient Guardians. No step on archetype. Okay, so let's see. Mikai no Ori, no. So, Null, Dreg of the Abyss. Alright, it's a light reptile, level 4, 0/0. You can use this card's names first and the second effect once per turn each. You can send this card from your hand to the graveyard. Send one dark reptile monster from your deck to the graveyard. Cool. This is Fractal. This is Fractal. Fractal effect, pitch itself, dump. Cool. If you control no monsters, or you control an Abyss monster, you can special summon this card from your graveyard, banish it when it leaves the field. You cannot special summon monsters while this card is special summoned by this effect in the monster zone, except reptile monsters. So this locks you into reptile monsters while it's on the field. What? Pens are a dead meme? Oh my god. Yeah, this locks you into reptiles, which is like, okay. You can use these actually because they're level 4. You can use them to make, I have it here, I think. You can use it to make King of the Feral Imps. Because King of the Feral Imps is a reptile. Once per turn, you can detach one XYZ material from this card, add one reptile monster from your deck to your hand. So, yeah. Buy out King of the Feral Imps, I guess. Let's see. Mikai no Ori, Nihil. Nihil, the Drag of the Abyss. You can only use this name's first and second effects once per turn. You can send this card from your hand to the graveyard, summon light reptile monster from your deck to the graveyard. If this card is normal special summon, you can add one Abyss spell and trap from your deck to your hand. Okay. Cool. Mikai no Sunahara, Flogi. Flogi, Haze of the Abyss. I think this is supposed to be Frogi. I'm not 100% sure. You can use this card's names first and second effects once per turn each. If this card is sent from the field to the graveyard, it will special summon from the graveyard. You can target one face-up monster your opponent controls and one monster on the graveyard with an equal or higher attack. Special summon that target in your opponent's graveyard to their field. If you do, send the target they control to the graveyard. Okay. Give them a stronger monster, but get rid of a problem monster. Okay. If this card is in your graveyard, you can send one card from your hand to the graveyard. Add this card to your hand. Okay. That's not too bad. I'll take a look at chat in a second, boys. Mikai no Sunahara Zora. Zoha. I think this is Zora. I'm not sure. Zoha, Haze of the Abyss. If this card is sent from the field to the graveyard, special summon from the graveyard, you can have your opponent draw one card, and if they do, you add an Abyss monster from your deck to your hand. Okay, I guess it's okay. Each player sends one card from their hand to the graveyard. Okay. This card is in your graveyard, you can send one card from your hand to the graveyard, add this card to your hand. Okay. Interesting. Mikai no Tasogare, Curse. Curse, Dawn of the Abyss. You can only use this card names first and second effects once per turn each. If this card is in your graveyard, you contribute one monster. Special summon this card, then your opponent can special summon one monster from the graveyard to their field. Its effects are negated. If this card is special summoned, you can target one level 4 or lower Abyss monster. Abhyss. Abhyss. Oh my fucking god. Abhyss. I hate this meme. Abhyss monster from your graveyard. Special summon it, but banish it when it leaves the field. Okay. Mikai no Kurayami Aleth. Aleth, Dusk of the Abhyss. What a fucking meme. You can only use this card's name first and second effect once per turn. Each of this cards in your graveyard, attribute one monster, special summon this card. Then your opponent can add one monster from the graveyard to their hand. If this card is special summon, you can target two of your banished monsters, including at least one reptile monster. Return them to the graveyard. Interesting. They're all lights and darks. Ooh! Chaos. Chaos Engine, my dude. Okay. Let's go. Mekaio. Aaron. Aaron, the King of the Abhyss. You can only use this card's names first, second, and third effects once per turn each. If this card is in your graveyard, tribute 2 monsters, special summon this card. Okay. If your opponent adds cards from their cards to their hand, except during the draw phase, you can add a card to their hand. Doesn't matter where from. Okay. You can send one random card from your opponent from their hand to the graveyard. Okay, I see how this this archetype works a little bit. If a monster your opponent controls is sent to the graveyard by a card effect, you can add one light or dark reptile monster from your deck to your, or graveyard to your hand. Okay. And then Amnesia, Queen of the Abhyss. You can only use this card's first, second, and third effects once per turn each. If this card is in your graveyard, you contribute 2 monsters, special summon this card. If a monster is special summoned from your opponent's graveyard, you can send one card that they control to the graveyard. Okay. Ooh, it sends and it doesn't target. Interesting. If a monster is sent from your opponent's hand or deck to the graveyard, you can special summon one light or dark reptile monster from your graveyard except Amnesia. Okay. And then, Abhyss, the deity of the Abhyss. Level 10, 3122. That's nice. Good stats. You only use this card's name's first and second effects once per turn each. If this card is in your graveyard, tribute 3 monsters, special summon this card. Once while this face-up card is on the field, quick effect, send all monsters on the field to the graveyard and accept face-up monsters that were special summoned from the graveyard. Interesting. I kind of like that. Depths of the Abhyss. You can only use this card name's first and second effects once per turn each. It's a field spell. If a face-up reptile monster you control is destroyed by a battle or an opponent's card effect, you can target one card your opponent controls and send it to the graveyard. Okay. If this card's in your field zone is destroyed by an opponent's card effect, send cards from the top of your opponent's deck to the graveyard equal to the number of reptile monsters with different names in your graveyard. Interesting. So you're milling your opponent's entire deck almost. Interesting. Okay. Emptiness of the Abhyss. Continuous trap. You can only use this card's name's first effect once per turn. During the main phase, you contribute one reptile monster and target one monster in your opponent's graveyard. Special summon it to your field. Oh. But send it to the graveyard during the end phase. Alright. If this face-up card in the spell and trap card zone is sent to the graveyard, send all face-up non-reptile monsters you control to the graveyard? Oh. Interesting. Okay. Normal trap. Invasion of the Abhyss. You can only activate one card with this card's names per turn. Special summon 2 Abhyss tokens. If you have 8 or more Abhyss monsters with different names in your graveyard, you can apply this effect instead. Special summon 2 reptile monsters with different names in your graveyard. Okay. And then Snake Rim. Okay. Alright. I'm gonna take a look at chat in a second. But overall, I kind of like this archetype. It seems very chaosy, and I feel like this deck's purpose is to fuck with your opponent, because it doesn't have an actual win con. It's just fuck with your opponent. Don't let them do anything. But it's kind of nice. 1, 2, 3, 4 level 4 monsters. So you have a decent amount of main deck like starter cards. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 boss monsters. I don't know how many of each of these you're going to be playing, but you have rank 4 access, you have rank 8 access. Your boss monsters are level 10. You have a field spell and then 2 traps plus Snake Rain being what it is. This archetype is very, very interesting, to say the least. Yeah, I like it.